Salutations, this is Grim Devel. I dreamed about my death. First I heard a scream, and then I fell from a great height. Interesting. Welcome back to our Let's Play of The Longing. I wonder if this has to do with how the Shade got in here. Is the Shade dead? Was the Shade either the boy or the old man in the dreams that fell down a well and got into this cave? I don't know. But we're going to talk to this face. And the clue that we're going to get has to do with the question. Which one? What will happen if I leave this cave? We're going to get the answer. Let's do it. If you set foot outside, the kingdom will crumble and be forgotten forever. There won't be a way back, but this is the tragedy of being. Each triumph may be a veiled defeat, and for each defeat, there is a hidden triumph lingering in the dark. Interesting. Each triumph may be a veiled defeat, and each defeat, there is a hidden triumph lingering in the dark. Okay. I don't remember what he said with the first three things, so I want to go back to those. The way to light is blocked by total darkness. You will only overcome darkness if you learn to become it. This way you will be invisible to it. You will only achieve this if you delve deep into your own mind in conscious loneliness. Huh. And then what lies beyond the cave. Light is beautiful and dangerous. Light is without understanding. Don't trust the childish eyes of the young. They will fear you. Only trust the old and blind, who are not afraid of that which emerges from darkness. So I feel like if we left the cave, maybe we would see that boy and the old man and have to choose and go to the old man. Who knows? And after 400 days, as long as there is time, there will always be longing. And once all longing has ended, the world... Sorry, I just had to pick that up. The world will no longer need time, and those without longing will no longer need the world. Man, okay. Thanks, face. So, it's been 3 days-ish since last I played, as you can see above. And we're here. It's going to be maybe a few days before I play again. I think we should go back to the mushrooms and see if these 3 days have been enough time for our mushroom to grow. For our hybrid mushroom, our theoretical hybrid mushroom to grow. Did I? Yeah, there, right? There. Pitter-pat, little shade, pitter-pat. I think last episode I forgot to say that. And I've kind of been intentionally saying it once an episode, and I just forgot. I don't know when I started doing that intentionally. Certainly not from the very beginning, but... Yeah, I don't know. I need to write that stuff down, I think. All the stuff the face said. We still need another disappointment. We need 3 coins to get the other information, which sounds like it might be more interesting than the clue that we just got. But all that stuff does make me wonder. I mean, it's definitely cooler to see those clues now than it was earlier in the game. Now that we've been waiting longer and we've seen more and we've started having these dreams. One of the clues about being invisible and like embracing loneliness by like delving deep in yourself makes me think like, what if we were just, maybe something gets unlocked by just hanging out in your lair and reading books or something like that? I don't know. All right, we're going to go back up to the mushrooms. And as always, I have not prepared any topic of conversation for today, because then it just wouldn't be authentic and extemporaneous, right? But also, maybe I'm just not going to think of anything. Maybe we'll just embrace the the loneliness and quietude of this game. Just be silent. Just listen to his little pitter pat. I will say, my episode and a half, where I talked about my faith. I appreciate you guys had some really nice and thoughtful responses to that, and I appreciated that. I still appreciate all of the love that this series has continued to get. You guys just continue to be awesome, and your enthusiasm for all of this still brings me much joy. So thank you. It's gonna be sad when the series ends, and it will have to end. Some people have suggesting things to play next after the series ends, because it would be nice. I've been enjoying this, and I guess the games I play in my channel tend to be a lot of roguelikes, a lot of strategy, management, colony simulation games, that kind of thing, role-playing games, and just weird little indie games. But this game is definitely, I mean, there aren't that many games like this game, but I'm enjoying this, even though it's not really my staple genre, I guess. But I was thinking it might be nice to play something of a slightly similar vein, like maybe a 2D adventure game. That might be fun. People have given me some good suggestions, and I'm happy to hear more. You should also all, some of you have joined my Discord since watching the series, and that's awesome. I get a little envious of folks that have much more active Discord channels than I do, and I don't exactly know what that is. Like, you kind of hope that there's just activity, life happening in your Discord server without your being there, right? And that hasn't really happened for me, like it's happened for like Civilian or Dave from Wee Hours, the other Granite Accidents that seem to have a more active Discord life. And I got a little envious of their communities. I get it. They're different YouTubers than I am. Dave puts a ton of effort into his channel that I just don't care to put in. And Civilian has a very appealing shtick. And not just that, I don't want to make her seem like she's just a gimmick. She's not. She's also what's the word I want to say? She's very entertaining in her own right. She's fun to watch. Not because of the gimmick. She just also happens to have a cool gimmick. But and I don't really have any of that. I'm just kind of me, and I'm lazy. I don't edit. I don't like editing. Although, part of that is also you lose quality. You lose video quality when you edit, and that kind of bothers me. And the stuff I'd like to watch is just unedited. I think, which I've talked about before. I find it a little annoying when I'm watching a YouTuber and all of a sudden there's a cut, and I'm like, what did I miss? But anyway, that's all to say. I invite you to come join my Discord server. We can talk about whatever, anything. I want some life bubbling in there. Someone from the series joined, Zombie, and he's been really awesome. He took it upon himself to kind of revamp, with my permission, the Discord server, and it has a lot more bot functionality now, and it looks there's a little more design to it, and he's been great. So shout out to Zombie there. But I feel like I kind of feel like also like all that effort, I feel bad, like he put this effort into it, and it's pretty quiet in there most of the time. Which I'm not selling it, but it's, come on by. We talk, we could talk about whatever. We have channels for politics and faith, also a channel for just talking about Steven Universe, which I could talk about. Oh man, I could talk about Steven Universe forever. You know what? Maybe we just start talking about Steven Universe because it's so good. Um, or Dungeons and Dragons, or or Pathfinder tabletop games. Um, so many things. Or The Longing. We can just talk about The Longing. Uh, Steven Universe is so good. I was um, it was actually the same friend that is in the comic book world that introduced me to Steven Universe. I was at his apartment, and he was just like, "You should watch this show." And he showed me like a couple of episodes that he thought would kind of get me into it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's good." And yeah, then I found myself watching it at home, and you just get super into it. It starts out, if you haven't seen Steven Universe, he's just the most endearing kid, and it's got this really amazing world uh, with these great characters. And the first season is very like episodic, where you don't really feel like there's a big overarching plot going on. But as it continues, you realize, oh, there is. This whole time there has been. Um, and the character development and the maturity growth, the growth of these characters is very, very well done, uh, and intentional. Um, and it's just amazing. Just one of my favorite shows. Yeah. And I could start getting like really into details, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, like I'm not gonna get super into like different episodes and story arcs, because you should find out for yourself. That's what you should do. This shade. He doesn't even know what I'm talking about. He doesn't hear me. Or does he? I still love that he follows the cursor, although he's not when he's walking, is he? All right, it's promising that we have more of these bulbous mushrooms where we have green and purple. Which, I didn't. This is very Grim Devell colors, aren't they? This game was made for me. I don't know what else. I feel like I kind of want to talk about politics, but I don't want, because I have strong opinions, and I'm not afraid of sharing them. But while I think folks don't mind you talking about your own point of view, even regarding religion um, or media or whatever. Like, I don't know, in this era, I think what I'm most afraid of, speaking about politics, isn't afraid of like losing subscribers or people disagreeing with me. It's just the trolls and the hate from the people that disagree with you, and just the like I get so emotionally exhausted arguing with people that disagree with me that in which you can gain zero ground in the conversation. And I'm not saying that I don't have tendencies to be stubborn, but people are very, very stubborn when it comes to what they believe politically. But I'll say this. I have to talk about this. I've talked about it on my channel. I've got a if you go to my like channel splash page or whatever it's called, the first video that you usually see is the video I made in the aftermath of the shootings of George Floyd, or not the shooting of George Floyd, but the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, and that that sparked a ton of comments and arguments that kind of still go on. But kind of, so you probably know where I stand politically. And I'll say I'm pretty progressive. I'm registered and if you don't know American politics, if you don't live in the United States, you might not know all the nuances of what I'm talking about, but I'm a registered Democrat. The only reason I'm a registered Democrat is because I was living in New York, and now live in New Jersey. And both of those states, if you want to be able to vote in your primary, you have to belong to a political party. And especially in New York, like where I was. Oh, look, bulbous mushrooms. Do we have one all the way over there? No. Well, let me finish my thought. I was going to say we, Huh. Huh. Do the purple ones turn into them? Is that what it is? Let me harvest this guy. And make it purple? This is a dumb puzzle. So if you want your vote to count, because whoever wins the Democratic primary is going to win the seat. If you are, maybe not necessarily for everything, but for, council seats and state representatives and state senators, assemblymen and women. Those are all, like, the Democrat is going to win where I was living in New York City. And therefore, the vote that counted was the primary vote, where you get to choose the Democratic candidate. So that's why you kind of feel compelled to join the party. All right, well, this is disappointing. We can't get up there. I don't know what to do about that. I guess I just leave the mushroom. I'm not going to use my mattock on it. I'm hoping that the pink one becomes a... I don't know. I don't know if I'm just missing something. I also, like, since that didn't work, like... And maybe switching it with the purple mushroom will work, but that's like my last idea. I don't know what else to do now. The only thing I can think to do is head to these caves over here and just kind of search around. And maybe revisit places that we haven't visited in a while. Take you. So, yeah, that's all to say. I used to live in Nashville and in Tennessee, and there you had open primaries. And I kind of like that better. At least for me, I liked it better because I participated in both primaries, and, I didn't try to, like, vote for the candidate I thought would have a worse chance against the candidate I really wanted. No, I voted for the candidate in both parties that I thought should be representing both parties. And that was cool. I liked that. I can see how some people might abuse that, but I don't. But the alternative now is that I feel like I'm forced to belong to this political party that I don't necessarily agree with, and don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I'd rather be an independent, even though I'm very progressive. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot more progressive, which is, I guess, kind of funny. Like, you always hear when you're young that when you get older, you you become more conservative as you get a job and make more money and have assets. But it has definitely, come on, Shade. It has definitely been the opposite for me. As I've matured, as I've gotten more money, owned a home, whatever, and just learn more about the world, I have become way more progressive than I used to be in high school or college or a young adult. And, to be fair, I do live in, like, the New York City area. So, sure, maybe I'm influenced by my surroundings, but, I mean, for sure I am, like, because I see the value of public service, right? Whereas someone that lives in a rural environment, it doesn't make sense for them to pay a lot of taxes for public services that they're not going to use or need. But anyway, it's all to say, I guess I'm just going to head. Where's the place? There. Head there. So yeah, I'm progressive, and I feel like I'm leading to something. I am not a fan of our current president, Donald J. Trump. In fact, uh, what's this guy doing? Go. From the very beginning, during the 2016 primary, I was trying to convince, and I have Republican friends, I have conservative friends, because of my faith. I find myself sometimes running in evangelical circles, or evangelical adjacent circles, which is primarily very conservative, very pro-choice. I mean, sorry, not pro-choice, pro-life, very pro-life, and I am not. I'm pro-choice, but that's fine. That's another big conversation we're not going to get into today. But I I feel like you can believe whatever you want to believe. I enjoyed having that political discourse about what the right thing is, whether, the advantages and disadvantages of small government, lower taxes for corporations, Second Amendment, abortion laws, all these things. And even though I tend to be on the progressive side of all these issues, I like having these debates and talking about them and getting more perspective. But the 2016 election, when it was clear that Donald Trump had a chance, I was imploring all of my conservative friends to vote for anybody but him, because I immediately saw him as a threat to everything good and decent, to democracy, to this country. And it was terrifying to see his rise. And I was trying to convince people to vote for Ted Cruz in the primary, who I still am diametrically opposed to politically, policy-wise. And I don't like him. I think he's a hypocrite. He was my least favorite candidate in the Republican primary race 4 years ago, except for Donald Trump. So I think that's saying something. I genuinely wanted Ted Cruz to be our president as opposed to Donald Trump. And I hate Ted Cruz. So yeah, it's been, and I know I'm not alone here, but the past 4 years have been very, very difficult. It's been immediately when he was elected, felt kind of psychologically crushing. I mean, I grew up in this country, loving my country, loving the United States, feeling like we were always progressing, that there was all this, no matter what, there was always this underlying idealism of freedom and equality. And I feel like this last election, I feel like it's just been dashed. And I feel like it's going to happen again. Like, we are genuinely thinking that my wife and I are genuinely thinking that if Trump does get reelected, we may seriously just leave this country. It's really bad. And I'm not going to get into all the reasons why. You probably know them. Even if you disagree with me, I'm sure you've heard all the reasons why people like me think that Donald Trump is basically want to be authoritarian, trying to turn this into an authoritarian state, and doing so successfully. And what's scarier than that is all of the people that are complicit in that and enabling him and supporting him so vehemently. That is the hardest thing to see. My faith in my countrymen has been just shattered, really shattered. I used to always think like other people in other parts of the country, they grew up with a different experience. They have a different perspective. It's not that like they're worse people or dumber people or anything like that. But after these past 4 years and this current election, I honestly don't want to be countrymen with these people anymore. They are supporting a president that sees me as an enemy, that vilifies me. And they are not my friend. And it's been very hard to be in the United States and have this division intentionally sown. and for it to have been so successful. So I should probably put a cut in here. I know that's a real downer note to end on, so I'm sorry about that. I could talk about this a lot more, but we're going to put a cut in here. Next episode, we're going to find ourselves in these caves, and I guess we'll just re-explore them. Maybe I'll be able to find something new. I don't know. But it'll be a few days, so maybe we explore there a little and then maybe go back up to the mushrooms and see if we get another bulbous mushroom to have grown. But if you have any other ideas for what you want to see, please leave a comment. This episode should be published on Sunday, and I'll probably be recording more on Monday, which is our Labor Day here. So I should be able to see some comments. We'll see. Anyway, I enjoyed playing with you today. And God bless America. And I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.